Good afternoon. It is October 14th, 2022, and here's what we're looking at for today. I believe that prices are trying to hit that measured move of the overnight range, and they have not done so yet. Um, so that's what I believe is happening. We hit this measured move down here, and you could see there was some buying when that happened, and that actually caused the break of this spike and channel down. Uh, but I think right now prices are trying to hit this measured move. So anyway, we'll take a look at these trades and get on with our weekend. So I think there was like a news item in here, and that was at 5:30. No entries before that. 5 o'clock came in right here. And that's second entry long. I marked it blue, but you know that's a tough one. I mean, with that news item, you probably want to be flat anyway, but it is a second entry long, so I marked it that way. And you do have a failure right there too, but that's all inside that bar. I don't think you want to take that. And we have this really nice move up. Could be like that, yeah. Um, and there's just no other way to get in on that, I don't think. We come down here and it just goes sideways when it corrects, so there's no long entries in there. Um, I don't think there's any shorts in here. Get a first entry, second entry short, and then this lower high. So I felt like prices would at least test this level. Um, but if they're testing that level, you're probably not looking for a scalp. So if you think prices are going to test this level or the midline, um, then I think you should take that. And they do test the midline and bounce, and they come up here. And this must be another news item that I'm not aware of. That overshoot leads to that break. And yeah, we just get a spike and channel down, or at least that's how I saw it. So we come down here, make a couple legs down. Uh, and maybe this is one, maybe you risk this. All right, I had to take a long pause, but I'm pretty sure I just marked this. It's a second entry after this huge leg down. So maybe you take that. I don't like the signal bar. Maybe you take the lower high because we're probably going to be testing this. But you can see it bounced a little off of the overnight lows, so you might be a little concerned. And then we have a failure. Um, Maybe you look at this as a double bottom right here. And then first entry failed second entry. Um, so there's that. And I marked it blue. It's probably, yeah, well, I marked it blue because we broke out of the overnight lows and then bounced back. So there's reasons to like that. But then we reverse and we come up here, make a new high, first entry, failed second entry, and that confirms this trend line. So I like that one. Even though this looks a bit congestive right here, but um, with us making lower highs, and it looks congestive here too. So maybe I have to mark that green, but it looks pretty good. It looks like a good green entry. And we didn't test these yet, or not. We didn't make a new low yet, so that's why I like that. And then we come down here. That looks like a second entry short off of that trend channel. So maybe you take that. This is probably a double bottom though. It's congestive up here. This looks like a failed break higher, so maybe you take that. And this kind of looks like a two-legged pullback to the EMA, but um, it's not off any trend channel. So I think you'd want to be a little more picky. But then we get this double bottom, first entry, failed second entry, right here. I like that with room to these highs. And then we go to the other side of the channel. Is this where we get confirmation of the channel? No. But this is where we bounce first entry, failed second entry. That confirms this channel, but doesn't touch the EMA. Turns out to be a pretty good move, though. Then you get a failure again. And, I mean, it's been working out, and there's room to the highs, so maybe you take that. So then we form this yellow channel. And we come down. And we come here, and you get a first entry, second entry. And I think you got to take that. I marked this green. But if you're seeing all this, you see that midline and these highs, that's a second entry. I think you got to take it. I think it's probably red. If you see all that, I think that's red. Then we come down here and we get another first entry, second entry. And this one's not as I'm going to keep this one green because it's not at the trend channel and we didn't come down to these lows again. So eventually that leads to a break. You get a second entry right here, no signal bar. You get a lower high, no signal bar. And eventually they just trap a bunch of people. Here you get a new low, first entry, second entry. But, you know, we didn't make it to these lows. So there's just a bunch of nice traps there. And there's a failure. But I don't think you want to go long, given the context here. And if you look at this as a double bottom, first entry, second entry, then you might take this one off of that trend channel. I think this is confirmation of, yeah, this is the confirmation of the trend channel. So, but again, we bounced off this midline, so it's kind of like this yellow channel on a larger scale. That turns out to be a good move. And then we get this leg of correction up, and that's when we broke the channel, which was two measured legs of this very steep leg right here down. But I don't think you want to go long in any of this. And then we get this move down, some congestion, this move down, and you get a first entry, second entry. That's also a failed second entry long. So I think you got to take that. And we just form a range. And so you get a double test right here with a nice bearish bar. But I marked it aggressive because sometimes when these prices break out to this side and then rocket back up, like with this bar, they'll go higher. And you can see eventually that did happen. But if this was like a triple test off a trend channel, and maybe no, I don't think this is. Oof. So I marked it. If it was a healthy trend, this isn't really a healthy trend. We're on both sides of the EMA, but that would be red, but not in this context. And we just get a range. This one's pretty tempting right here, but we're making higher lows and higher highs, and I should mark it aggressive, just like a failed break higher. And this one's a failure, but look at all that support you're going into. Then you get this tight range, all these, this upward move, overshoot, leads to a break. So we get this lower high. I marked this, but you're going into the EMA, but I think it's going to test this price level. That's what I was expecting, and it does. So maybe you consider that one. Then we get a break. You get a reversal right here. And that leads us into the end of the day. This is actually a failure right here, but prices are just going on both sides of the EMA, so it's just not a great context for that. Here you get a reversal too. Let's see if this is off a trend channel. I probably have it drawn like that. So maybe you take, I'll mark it red. I mean, it's a pretty good setup. If you see all that looks like a midline to me. So I did like that one. So that's how I saw it. So let's get one last look. Hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back next week.